Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to do a reading on how they view your relationship. So basically looking at things like how they view you physically, emotionally, and what do you share together in the relationship, and then we'll summarise it at the end. So if you want to choose number 1, number 2 or number 3, and then we'll get started. Okay, number 1 first. I have shuffled them before, but I'll just do it quickly again. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I'll do is I'll keep each pile upside down, I think, and then turn them over bit by bit. So I'm reading each bit as it turns over, and then try and summarise it all together, or as we go along, we'll see how it goes. Okay. How they see you in general. Okay. How they see you in general is basically somebody, it's almost like you're unreal, it's like you're almost untouchable, it's like somebody they have known, they feel them from the past, they feel familiar with, but you almost seem as if you are not quite there, like an illusion, like somebody they watch from a distance but they can't quite get their mitts on. It's a feeling of familiarity, an unusual feeling of feeling very familiar with somebody, but knowing that they don't actually know you that well. They could dream about you, they could fantasize about you. There's this general feeling that you could be like, you fit into their family well, but they don't actually know you that well. It's not as if you have, from guessing from this, it's not as if you have a very, I'm going to say long background, which doesn't make sense. It's not as if you have a relationship that is based in reality, is what I'm thinking. It's more as if to them, you seem as if somebody they dream about, and they feel as if they're at home with you. Okay, so that's how they see you in general. So there's this like feeling of fantasy of basically not being able to touch you. It's like a Venus Neptune feeling about that, and almost as if it's like put you on a pedestal, whatever the word is, but they might be based on their thoughts and their projections rather than the fact how much they know you. So yeah, there's attraction there, but it's not from being with you all the time, it's from what they're actually thinking about you. Okay, how they see you physically. Let's put that onto the back. How they see you physically. They basically see, I'll bring it out. These two combined together are Major Arcana cards, so they're quite strong. So their impression of you physically is strong. You give the impression of being very, very sort of at home in your body, very voluptuous, very womanly. If you're a man, you appear as if you're one of those people who are have a beautiful home, know how to wear your clothes well. You probably are a little bit thicker set than normal. You're probably not the stringy type, but have a bit of meat on you. But also there's a feeling of excitement when they see you physically. There's a feeling that you're different from what their normal type. So it's a combination. If they're normally drawn to people who are skinny and tall, and you might be the total opposite. It's not you might not be their type, which might have shocked them a bit. But it's almost this one to me. These two to me actually. Leave that one out for the moment. Strike me as when you fall for somebody and it's like love at first sight, but you've no idea why you've fallen for them. There's just a huge attraction. It's almost like electric. and the person appears your ideal, their ideal, sorry. It's also a balance there. Now this is a very feminine card, but I see this one as quite masculine. There's almost a balance there, well, it could be Pluto, but of male and female energy. There's like the excitement, there's like the draw, and there's like the physical attraction, almost like a physical ideal. And at the moment, this almost like links with this feeling about you, that they see you as being somebody they haven't quite got their mitts on yet. Excitement, attraction, and finding you beautiful, male or female. If you are male, it will be the type of beauty that is more effeminate, as in you might have larger eyes, longer eyelashes, just that sort of confusing thing for women. That's what I mean. But there's definitely the excitement, there's the attraction there, and there's like, almost you don't know what to do with it. Okay, and you're just, this still gives the impression that you're watching, and this person is watching and waiting. It's not quite solid yet. Emotionally, how they see you. They see you emotionally as a mixture. They see you as being very loving, very giving, very open. Almost like an emotional ideal, which especially with this Empress card as well, it's almost as if it's like, I'm going to say obsessive, but there's nothing obsessive about these cards at all. But they possibly see you as their ideal. But there's an element as well, there's a mixture of things with you, that there's a mixture of the laid back, luscious, beautiful, but with something that's also in these cards here, this full card here, makes you slightly different, it makes you slightly edgy and exciting. And here the same, you've got the same mixture. Emotionally, they see you as beautifully laid back, giving, just one of those people who display their emotions freely, and it seems easy, and it seems as if once again you're everything they wanted. But there's also, no, I don't put these two together, sorry. There's also this card here, which is very similar to these ones here. There's that excitement, there's almost that fiery energy, as if you're not afraid to go for what you want. But that's not the general impression they give of you. You give, but the two together make you almost a potent mixture of luscious, laid-back, sexy lady, sexy man, with that feisty bit that looks like it's going to do what it wants. So it's quite a really sort of confusing male-female balance there. You give off two very separate images. I would say the feminism is stronger. But there's also that excitement, and I'm going to go for what I want, fire energy with you as well. Oh, what is that? Let me take the first one off the top here. Okay, what you share together is the possibility of ruining something. My first thoughts on this, not from the cards before, but when I first turned them over, that if you are both in relationships, or that you two actually going out together, maybe you work together, maybe your families don't quite fit together, I don't know, your cultures aren't quite the same, but if you two got together, I get the general impression you're not, it would be a huge, I say blowout. If you rush into a relationship with each other, if you're not in a relationship already or just started, there could be the possibility of everything blowing up into the air for some reason or other. I don't know the reason. It could be something to do with relationships at the moment. Maybe you generally in some way, I don't know the situation, but in some way your relationship is not acceptable. And you two going out together is going to blow things up. And one of you has got a bit of a fiery energy, possibly could be you because it's a combination, and you could possibly end up hurting each other or hurting the people around you. I don't really know what that energy is there. I'll have a look at this pack here. So just sum you all up together. Okay, to sum you all up together, there's three people at least in this relationship that if you did actually go forward with it, you would need to think really hard, because it would be a complete, you're not going to get away with keeping it quiet. You either need to come out and say what's going on and face up to the situation you're both in, because, and you need to think about that, to draw inside yourself, to think about it, because at the end of the situation that you're in, for three people to get together, you're going to have to end something else. So this is what I'm getting from your pack altogether. It'd be interesting to know if I'm right. Your situation isn't concrete, it's not actually practically, it's not started in everyday reality. It's thoughts, it's feelings, and it's strong feelings. They have strong feelings for you too, but it's almost as if it's based in illusion. There's just like watching, waiting, and huge attraction, and knowing that once you get together, it will boom, it will explode. So your advice is to think about this really carefully, pull inside yourself, what do you actually want from this person? Where will you be together in 2 years' time, 3 years' time? Is that what you want? Because whatever, if you want this relationship to continue, you're going to have to end other things, because there's possibly more than two people involved. Okay, I'm going to leave that there, because I think that explains it pretty well. Be interesting to know if that is the case. Okay, thank you for watching. Pile number 2. Okay, pile number 2. So I have shuffled before, pile number 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Go there. I have shuffled 1, 2, 3, 4. Go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, go there. Okay, I'm going to turn them over each pile at a time to read each one as I go through, and then sum it all up at the end, possibly looking at what you've got out already. So this is you. So how do they view your relationship? This is how they view you. Okay, they view you as a very practical, very down-to-earth person who takes everything in their stride, but for some reason they view you as if you would blow their world apart, or you have had your world blown apart, and you are at the moment pulling out of the situation and basically rejuvenating, resting. So I guess they see you as a very sort of down-to-earth, everyday person that has at this very moment had their world blown apart. And I don't know if it's anything to do with them, we'll find out later. And at the moment you're separate from each other probably, and you are basically trying to assimilate what's happened, trying to work out what has happened in your life. If nothing has happened in your life, basically they see you as a person who, in some situation that they might be able to relate to, or be involved in, that you could possibly blow everything to pieces in their life. You have that power inside you that has the possibility of totally disrupting and being a total game changer in their life. They may not be in contact with you now, but that's how they view you. It's like a earthy, like a Pluto with an earth energy, almost as if carry on day to day, everything's fine, get up, go to work hard, but you have that capacity inside you to make huge shifts that ripple through other people's lives, and that's maybe how they view you. So physically how they see you. Oh, okay, you've got 2 knights, there's 2 of the same card here. So these probably together. You're somebody who probably works out and probably has a figure that looks as if you work out. If you're not somebody who works out, something that you do practically every day will somehow, some way have affected your body. I'm thinking workout because if you run, you've probably got strong legs. If you're a gymnast, you've probably got strong arms, that sort of thing. Or if you play rugby or if you play football, your body would have changed to look like you've played that sport, and they'll be able to see it. But physically how they see you, they see you somebody who's I say rich, but somebody who is rich. Somebody who wears their clothes well is, I'm thinking, is it Audrey Hepburn? Somebody who's refined, who wears their clothes well, who has an elegance, quite statuesque, quite in control of themselves, almost slightly reserved. It's sort of like the quite silent type. So if you're a man, it's probably you're probably somebody who likes to wear their clothes well. And I'm almost seeing like a slimmer fitting clothes, well tailored. It's tailored nowadays, I made that up. Just somebody who chooses their clothes well, and they won't, not garish, sort of elegant, with an air of control and maybe slightly reserved in some ways too. I know that's not a physical attribute, but it's the way that you would come across to them physically. If you came into a room, people would say elegant, good taste, in control of themselves. Like a gentle but confident air about you. You're probably one of those people that have, when people, I don't know about this, but if people see some people, they're like, oh, they're really good looking, they see it straight away, and you might be that person that has an air about them that people find really attractive. And it's one of those things that, you say if somebody saw a photo of you, they might not think anything, but once that you're there physically, you're one of those people that everyone finds very attractive. So look after yourself, wear your clothes well, elegant, statuesque and controlled, in a sort of detached manner, well dressed. Okay, how they see you emotionally. Yeah. Okay, there's something about you that is quite overpowering to them. They are slightly scared of you because they feel as if they have to control their emotions, or you are. Now, actually, if this is you, you are controlling your emotions with them, and they can sense that. And there's almost like a magnetic draw between the pair of you that feels like it's going to explode. So they can think you're controlling your feelings, and they also think as well that you might be finding that quite hard and quite stressful. But there's a combination as well of wanting to, that's coming out of you emotionally, that need to communicate with them. And they feel that. You've very, very strong emotional feeling from you. You might appear quite detached, but there's like an inner power to you that has the possibility of tipping over, and they can sense it. They can sense a sort of, it's almost, especially if this is like a crush situation, there's almost like a need to control your emotions and not show them, but with an inner anxiety. And I don't know if they sense that or not, they possibly do feel as if there's something upsetting you, or there's something ready to come out of you. But with a strong, strong need to communicate. They feel this strongly, that your emotions, what you have inside of you is extremely strong, and they feel it. It's almost as if you're trying to control your attraction to them, and it's causing you a bit of distress. And that inattention, they're feeling it in some way, that they are picking that up. Very, very strong feelings there that you are, for some reason, trying to keep under control. And they know that. You might have told them, I don't know, but it's almost as if they can sense that this situation, if it got moving, or if it moves into a different stage, is possibly explosive. So what do you share together with each other? Okay, there's an emotional openness between. There's like a beginning of a new relationship where you both feel, because if this is shared, you both feel. This is like the Ace of Cups. A outpouring of emotion that neither of you wants to put the lid on. And this is what's rumbling in the background of your relationship. You're both finding that, for some reason or other, you're both finding those feelings really difficult. You both find the feelings really difficult to control, as if they're bearing down on you for some reason, as if you're not allowed to express it, or for some reason whether you're not really used to expressing yourself. That they can sense that that you're finding this difficult. The fact that you both like each other is weighing quite heavy on you, and you're trying to control it emotionally. So that's what you share between each other, both of you, a emotional new beginning, which you're both, if this is shared, both feeling it's actually hard work. And I don't mean that hard work as in you two are finding hard work, but you feel for some reason that it's not, I'm saying not acceptable again in some way, which is the same as pile one. And you're both trying to control it. You're both trying to look at this situation from a larger viewpoint, looking down, trying to be detached. And this person, how they view you, you're probably finding it easier to be detached because these cards show me detachment. Well, you are detached. So I don't really understand why you are like this, that you've got emotions, they're almost explosive emotions, and you're really trying to control them, and you both feel it. You're both trying to do the same thing. Okay, this relationship to me seems as if you've separated, you're being detached. There's still a lot of love there, but what has happened is that you've both pulled out of the relationship, and it's almost, if you have had a relationship and you haven't started that relationship, there's nothing going, there's no movement. I'm thinking you've had a relationship, it's ended. There's no movement at the moment, and you are both just feeling all of this and doing nothing about it apart from fantasizing about it and thinking about it and watching and waiting. It's ended. Or you feel it's ended, or possibly if it hasn't ended, you'll feel it's imminent. So to summarise all this up, I would say that they see you as a person, somebody who has pulled out of the relationship and is very practical normally, but has had some sort of epiphany, is a polite word for it. Physically, very well dressed, very physically very attractive in a controlled, neat cut, wear your clothes well, you work out sort of way. Emotionally, hiding everything and being very anxious and being really upset, but they feel that strongly. Either you're communicating that strongly, or they feel it strongly. Strongly. Is that a word? What you share together, you both share these feelings. You're both feeling as if this really, really heavily. I can't speak today, but you're both being very logical about it. And to sum it all up, you two aren't doing anything about it. You both are watching and waiting and fantasizing and thinking that it's ended. If it has ended, it has ended. So that sums your relationship up at the moment. Huge attraction, hiding it all, and pulled out at the moment, not moving forward with it. Okay, I know that's not. I feel like I should give you some advice with that, because it answers the question, how do they view you? And I don't have to, from just reading those, I can't give you advice on that. It's basically what I might do is tomorrow I might do one with a bit more advice in it. Yeah, I feel like I've left you a bit in the lurch there. Okay, well, let me have a look. Advice for you with a relationship that is extremely powerful, but is not going anywhere. Okay, I would say to communicate in a loving manner, I would say communicate logically, talk about this. If you can't talk about, reading this, if it wasn't in the situation that we're all in at the moment, I would say go down to their house and talk to them. You can't do that, but that's what I'm getting from the 4, and that's what I'm getting from the Knight the Knight of Swords, that's communication. He's moving forward and he wants to talk. He wants to communicate. Not harsh words, which sometimes he can actually, keep your words soft. And I would say go round to their house, but you can't probably. If you are in the same house, yes, you can. But I would keep a top on your emotions so that your words aren't too sharp. Okay, there you go. Okay, there you go. Pile number 2. Pile number 3. Okay, pile number 3. Let's have a look at how do they view your relationship. How do they view your relationship? How do they view your relationship? Okay. How do they view your relationship? First pile, I'm going to turn them over one by one to basically read what's in front of me at each given time, and then try and summarise it. Maybe as I go along, maybe just at the end, I'll see how it goes. Okay, 6 Pentacles. How do they view you? Okay, I would say kind of control. My first thoughts are here that this is the Chariot, and it's basically when you try and pull two opposing forces together. So in some way, you're very much in control of yourself, and you're quite a fighter. You're somebody who knows how to organise yourself, organise others, and organise your life. So you are very much in control of yourself and the situation around you. 6 of Pentacles is somebody who's also very giving. So if you are controlling, it's coming. If you are in control of yourself, it's normally coming from a really good place where you are. It's almost like, to me, this is like the Emperor's card. These two together, it's almost a control of situations or your situations in your life, but from you feel as if you're doing the best for other people. There's like a feeling of there's kindness there. This one here to me almost speaks of control as well, because I know in the original Rider-Waite pack, I think the bird has got a mask on, almost as if you are in a garden together. Oh no, wrong card. No, right card, sorry. The bird has got a mask on in the Rider-Waite, so is that right? No, this is defensiveness. Okay, so you are here kind and controlled with an air of defensiveness about you. They can see that you're kind-hearted. You're almost like a turtle in a hard shell. It's almost as if you're soft inside. You could be Cancer, but you have got a hard exterior because you don't. They see this about you. It's almost as if you put on a front because you are soft in the inside, and they can sense that. There's almost as if you have a slight barrier around you that you don't want to let people get too close in case you get hurt. And you might have been hurt in the past, and that might be the reason why you have this exterior personality or personality that you put out to people. Okay, physically they see you as, ooh la la, this is a strong but strange pack. Okay, physically they see you as their ideal, but in a very sort of soft, feminine way. So it's almost as if you balance them out and you are the feminine energy. You are probably one of those people who are smaller than usual, probably paler skin than the rest of your family. You might be quite creative, and they see that physically as their ideal. You probably look very similar to each other. What I find really interesting in some people when you get these cards, if you look at things like their eyebrow line, their eye line, and the top lip line, and also like the length of the face, that you two might be very similar, and that's probably why they find you attractive, because you look familiar to them. But there's also a sort of, sorry, cut off, as a good balance yourself between masculine and feminine, or their ideal balance to them. You are their ideal partner physically, because you mirror them in many ways. You make them feel balanced. Okay, balance side China. Okay, emotionally, how do they see you? Okay, you are emotionally somebody who likes to talk about your emotions, and you're quite direct, emotionally direct. You are not scared of your emotions, but it's like a huge combination here. You have shown them two parts of yourselves. You have shown them that you aren't scared to talk about your emotions. You're not scared of diving into emotions, but you're quite controlled about it and quite mature about it. You're very happy to talk about your emotions. You're very happy to communicate. But you also, after you've done that, might be one of those people, especially if you've got this moon energy here, who pulls out for a couple of weeks and then moons over it. You basically might be one of those people, especially as I mentioned Cancer here, that might, I'm not going to say sulk, that take a long time to assimilate your emotions. So you probably go in with a fight, talk, shout, try and sort things out quite feistily, and then you retreat and think about it, because emotionally you probably get hurt quite easily, and then you have to basically mull it over in your head before you can start communicating again. So that's probably how they see you emotionally. Dive in full steam, and then probably become a little bit hurt, and then retreat for a long, I know this feeling, wow, and then retreat for quite a while to sort things out, get your confidence back up again. That's how they will see you. So I'm just getting a Cancer feel about this. That sort of, you put a barrier around you because you are quite sensitive deep inside, and they've sensed that in you. They've sensed that you're quite sensitive, and there's only so far they can push you until you run off. So your relationship together, what do you share together? Okay, there's a feeling that your relationship, this is quite nice actually, because there's almost like a gentle feeling about this whole reading. The other two powers weren't quite as gentle, but yours is like a feeling of, I'm getting a Venus Jupiter. If you've got like conjunctions in your synastry chart, it's this like feeling of fairness, that whatever you do together, you'll make sure the other one isn't hurt. You'll make sure that whatever decision that you make, that will be fair for both of you. And even if you split up, there's always that feeling that you don't want the other one to degenerate in any way, for things to go wrong for them, even though you're not together. It's quite a mature, balanced feeling there. There's like, it's almost like a family, as if it's almost like a family feeling, that whatever happens to this person, it hasn't got that Mars energy about it. So whatever happens to this person, you want them to feel good about themselves. You don't want to hurt them, and vice versa. They don't want to hurt you. They want everything to be fair. It's quite a mature, gentle feeling, and between the pair of you, it's almost like a calm, watery feel about it. That you could either be water signs predominantly, or earth signs. I get a very I know this isn't water, but that's the feeling I'm getting from it. There's that mature, sharing, loving feel about you, that you basically save. Most people save for family members. You care about this person. This person cares about you. Really nice pile. Okay, so oh yeah, this is the best pile yet for being balanced and being loving and being mature. So to sum you all up, to how they see you and your relationship together. Now, they obviously see you as very sensitive, but you are trying to be controlled, but they can see through that, and they see you as their other half. Either physically, you are a combination of masculine and feminine, probably more feminine, and they love that ideal about you. They can see it in your body type, in the way that you move. There's a good blend of male and female, and to them that's their ideal. They can see that you're easily hurt and can be quite reserved at times and pull back when situations become a little bit too intense or you're feeling a little bit wounded. And to sum it all up, your relationship to them and how they see you is hopeful. I feel as if hopeful wasn't a really strong word. That everything that they have wished for in a relationship, you are that. You are mature and giving and loving, and that you communicate well. And this is an ideal reading if you're looking for somebody who you want to like you back, because it's got a feeling about it that is mature. It's not so much, it's like somebody, it's if you already know each other quite well and that you want to do the best for each other. There's no grasping to make sure that you get that love and then you fill that hole and then you feel better. It's an exchange here with this pack, and it's as if you're both going to get out of each other something that will make you more, you're both going to get something out of each other that is bigger than if you were separate. So I hope that sums it up for you. Definitely the ability here to be bigger people together and to be bigger people as a couple, if that makes sense. There's the emotional exchange, there's the caring, there's the loving, and there's the communication there, and it's like hope and inspiration, and basically both of you feel that in the future you could build on this and make it something really, really special if it isn't already. I get the general feeling it is already. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I hope this helps in some way. I hope this helps in any way. It would be interesting for me if you could let me know, just to see if it works, or the way that I read it works for you, or whether it helps at all. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day.